guys, and welcome back to Chapter by Chapter.
We're still reading King of Scars.
We're on Chapter 10, which is another Nina chapter. And I hope your hearts are ready. We pick up with Nina around dusk when she's finally picking herself up to her feet after grieving burying Matthias.
I'm still feeling bitter.
Not only did she just bury the love of her life, but a winter storm starts. She never saw a storm come on so fast. And at one point, she thinks that she can hear Audric yelling and see the yellow flag of their tent. And then a moment later, it's just gone. So she doesn't really have any choice but to continue on. And as she's trying to make herself move forward, she's like, maybe I didn't come here just to bury Matthias. Maybe I came here to die. And I am worried. She's not even really comforted by the fact of her own death.
Even though she's kind of giving up a little bit on life and she's feeling really sad about Matthias.
There isn't even any kind of afterlife that the Gracia have. They just return to the heart of the world. And this really brings her little comfort. But before she can even, attempt to go any farther and try to find camp, she sees 5 wolves. They're starting to circle Nina and she has no escape. If you remember from Six of Crows, at one point Matthias actually has to fight wolves, and Nina knows how hard this is for him because wolves are sacred to his religion, to Gel.
It's Gel, it's like de gel, but it's Gel. I listened to the audiobook.
And for a moment she's wondering, maybe these wolves sensed Matthias' presence since he's being buried and returned to his god. Or maybe they're just looking at Nina like she's a meal.
She is a snack.
She's like, wow, their god has one crazy sense of humor. Nina throws off her coat even though it's freezing, and she gets herself ready in her fighting stance, and she's ready when these first 2 wolves attack. She makes sure that their deaths are quick, her little bone shards.
I picture her shooting them like Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
Even though the bone shards kill the wolves quickly and give them a clean death, it's still really sad to Nina. And it's sad to me too, I like wolves. But when the other wolves are ready to attack, she isn't ready, her aim isn't as true, and she only ends up grazing one in the shoulder, I think. And then the other one comes and lunges on her arm and bites her. And she's thinking that she's going to die in this moment, and she's like, I just said all of these pretty words for Matthias, and no one's going to have any pretty words for me.
In this moment.
Like, I don't think she's going to die, but I'm getting upset. And then out of nowhere, another wolf comes in, starts attacking the wolves that are attacking Nina. As she's looking at them and comparing the two, she notices that the wolves that were attacking her are really gray and straggly and mangy, and that they were shaky. She's like, oh great, something's infecting these wolves and now I have it in my bloodstream. The wolf that came to save Nina is actually larger than the other ones. It's white and it has a long scar that runs across its eye.
It's Trassel!
It's Trassel! I'm so happy that it's Trassel.
It's Trassel, it's Trassel, it's Trassel. Hey, Buffy just got groomed, doesn't she look so pretty?
I'm gonna keep her here since we're talking about wolves. In my notes, I wrote,
it's Trassel, bitches!
Because I'm so excited at this point. This is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what I envisioned when Matthias said he would protect Nina from beyond the grave. Even when Nina says his name, he gives a little head tilt.
So cute.
And then before anything else can even happen, out of nowhere comes Tall Girl, riding in on her horse to save the day. It even says that she looks like this beautiful warrior queen.
She has a crush on her, I think. That's at least what I'm hoping.
But the bad thing is she comes in seeing Nina on the ground bleeding and raises her gun at Trassel because she assumed that that's who attacked her. Nina actually, screams no! And she just used her bone shards to make sure that Tall Girl doesn't shoot Trassel.
Buffy didn't want to stay.
Then she has to even yell at Trassel and Driscoll saying, get out of here. And it's so sad, like in every book and movie when they're like,
get out of here, I don't need you anymore, but I don't believe it.
And this frustrates Nina, who's already probably completely emotionally and physically drained from the day that she just had. She's yelling at Tall Girl, telling her that she messed everything up. Tall Girl's like, hey, I just saved your life. What do you mean? But Nina's angry and she's ready for a fight, and she picks one. And then out of nowhere, Nina starts, not being able to breathe, and she feels this pain in her chest. And she realizes that Tall Girl is Grisha.
I did not see that coming.
I thought they were just gonna, fall in love or have a crush on each other. Nina has to use her bone shard to snap Tall Girl, out of this trance and get her attention. So she has the Grisha power, but she has no idea how to control it. Once everything calms down a little bit, Nina explains that that particular wolf wasn't the wolf that bit her. That's why she was upset that she scared the wolf away. She says that she just overreacted to Tall Girl saving her life, and Tall Girl's like, hey, you only overreact when someone eats the last sweet roll. At this point, I don't know if they're gonna be BFFs or if they're gonna end up dating. Because Nina is still undercover and she can't tell Tall Girl what's going on, she has to say, hey, I just hit you with a dart to distract you. This leads Nina to assume that Tall Girl ended up using her powers to put all of the guards of the convent to sleep. And Tall Girl's pretty freaked out at this point. She doesn't want to hurt anybody. Nina has to lie to cover up all of her Grecian knowledge and say that she actually had a sister who turned out to have powers and that she learned about everything through helping her. And the storm is still raging on during all of this, and they have to find a place to stay. Luckily, Helmet, Tall Girl's horse, knows exactly where to go. There's actually a lodge nearby, and on their way there, Tall Girl's asking Nina how she knows Druskull commands because it's actually blasphemous for someone else to say them. So Nina covers it up by saying that a boy in her village was part of them and that she heard him using the commands. And when Tall Girl asks who he was, she says, oh, he passed some time ago.
Just sad.
And when they finally get to the lodge, it's actually surprisingly crowded and just packed full of men.
It's a sausage party.
So basically, they won't be safe there just being two defenseless women staying the night. Nina's like, hey, do you have any skirts packed in your bag? Because your outfit here is going to cause a problem. Just like pulls out her clothes and her skirt just goes, just comes down. So Nina goes in, being the wonderful actress that she is, and she puts on this ruse that Tall Girl has not only the wealthiest father, but the wealthiest fiancé that will pay them large amounts to protect them for the night. This makes Tall Girl really mad. She's like, hey, you just made us look weak. Like, we could take them. And then Nina's like, wow, no one has ever really trained you, have they? You need to know when you're going to win and when you're going to lose and when to back down. And then the guys start asking them like,
oh, so who is your wealthy fiancé?
And Nina makes something up. And the guys are like,
oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
I'm not surprised. While they're huddling together, keeping an eye on what's going on, never really sleeping or taking a break from keeping their guard up, they start talking and bonding. Tall Girl admits that her father was really close-minded, thinking that a woman shouldn't learn how to hunt or fight or take care of herself.
It was unnatural.
He actually says that it denies the man the chance to be the woman's protector. And that's why she was sent to the convent in the first place. Tall Girl just assumes that Nina feels exactly the same way because remember, Nina's a great actress and she's posing as a Fjordan woman who's already been married, who's just, traveling with this couple. She also assumes that Nina feels this way because she thinks that Nina was disgusted by her, the way she looked at her when they found them in the soldier's uniform in the meadow. Nina's like,
nope.
Was just very surprised by that. We're actually really similar. Nina says that it's fear that makes men act a certain way. And they make these rules so that women can't do certain things. Because think of all the things that women could achieve if they were allowed to do all of the things they wanted to do.
Nina, my queen, feminist icon, love her always.
And thank you, Leigh Bardugo, for writing that.
Making the men look stupid.
We finally get a name from Tall Girl. Her name is Han, and I'm a little bummed I don't get to call her Tall Girl anymore. I still might, who knows. But Nina has to introduce herself as Mila, and she even feels a little bit bad for still having to lie to her. And I totally forgot that Nina does not look like herself. I'm reading from her perspective thinking Nina looks like Nina, but she doesn't. And Han introducing herself leads Nina to smile for the first time in months. And I'm just so happy that my girl is getting back to her old self. Even though I'm happy about this bonding moment,
whether it's BFF bonding or something else,
I'm still worried about what's going on with the wolves and why they were all shaky and weird. And I'm also very worried if Trassel is ever going to come back. He has to come back. I love him. I need him. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another chapter by chapter. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. And Buffy would really like it if you would like this video, subscribe to my channel, and maybe even leave a comment down below, especially if that comment is how cute Buffy is today.
You know she is, yes.
See you guys next time.